What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of building this Turbo R 4-seat race chassis. So, like I said in the last video, it's been a while since I've made videos for you guys, but there's a whole build series coming on me building this thing. So, you're going to say, what exactly are you building? Why don't you just leave it the way it is, throw a cage on it, and call it a day? Well, that's not what we're doing. I'll tell you exactly what we're doing just after this. So, as you can see, 4-seat chassis, extremely long. It is a pretty long wheelbase machine, and a lot of the guys in, let's say, Mexico or people who run Vegas to Reno only and races like that, a lot of them prefer a 4-seat chassis simply because the way that the bumps are from the trucks, the gaps between the whoops are a little bit bigger, and a 4-seat chassis just kind of soaks it up and kind of mimics the wheelbase of, like, let's say, a 10 car, a class 1 car, or even a 6100 or a trophy truck or something like that, where they're almost as long. It makes it a little bit better. But a lot of the race courses that we do, Racing Vora, Legacy, a 2-seat chassis is pretty much the way to go. I'm sorry, it's super hot in the shop, so I have my fan going, and so if there's a little bit of background noise, I apologize. But anyways, what are we going to be doing to this chassis? Well, as you can see, I don't need any of this. This is where all the stock dashboard goes and all that stuff. That is all getting cut off. All these tabs all throughout here, they're all getting cut out. Even these guys getting cut out. This whole tube right here getting cut out. I just can't touch my trailing arm mounts, so it'll be cut basically right there, and then this whole corner will be gone. As far as the front end goes, I can't touch, per race rules, I can't touch the mounting points of where the shocks go. So I'm going to have to basically chop off this top tube here and leave these mounts the way they are. Maybe build something new for it, a little bit thicker plated steel, and basically build a whole platform going to that back tube. I'm also going to be chopping down the frame probably about 10 inches, maybe even 12 inches, so probably not quite the span of this gap right here, but pretty dang close to it, and just suck everything in, so that way virtually this tube right here will basically be like right here. That way it gives me space to put a fuel cell right in there. Like I said, I'm shooting for about 110 inches. That's kind of what the wheelbase is going to be going at. So I want to say the 4-seat chassis is at like 105 or something like that wheelbase. If I cut off, I'm sorry, it's 125 wheelbase, and if I cut off 10 inches, it'll be about 115. And like I said, I wanted to be kind of in the 110 mark, but I'm gonna have to kind of see and play with things to see where I'm gonna end up. I'm okay with 115 inches. Anywhere between 112 to 115 inches is kind of the ideal spot. I wanted to go as small as possible because the wheelbase on the Pro XP was, I think, 94 inches. So adding another 10, 12 inches to that might not sound like a huge deal to most people, but in a racing aspect, it really makes a difference. It'll probably be just as long as a Pro R, maybe a little bit longer than a 2-seat Pro R. But it's gonna be one hell of a project. Have I like taken on too much? Probably, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. As far as the back of the car goes, I'm not really gonna touch too much on here. I might replace these tubes here, get rid of all this stuff, and kind of just go straight with it. Right there. Not touching these mounts. If I have a tube going straight there to here, or put a bend in it to go down. Obviously it's going to be a little bit thicker wall than this stuff is so thin. Basically there's a lot of flex in this tube. So if I put in a stronger structure back here, it'll keep the back end from either wanting to bend or break or anything like that, with some added gussets and things like that throughout. So that's a huge plus. As far as the front bulkhead goes, that for the most part, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm doing with this yet. I'm gonna kind of look online, go straight cheat status and figure out what other people are doing. Because I'm not a professional chassis builder. I'm not a professional fabricator. But I like building cool stuff. So that's why I wanted to film this, to show you kind of what I did. If you wanted to build something similar to that, at least you know, per reference, my videos, you'd be like, hey, I want to do something just like that. So yeah, I mean, all I'm going to start doing now is getting after it. Start cutting out all these gussets and all these tubes like this. Just all these guys that I'm never going to use. I want to basically make it completely smooth and tabless, because I'm basically putting in everything new in the car. So let's get to it. Alright, so now that I got all this stuff taken off, all those tabs taken off, that tube gone, those brackets, all those brackets laying in the middle is what I just cut off. I am trying to decide on how exactly I'm going to build this chassis. I've seen a ton of them out there. And so I'm basically kind of looking at other people's builds, seeing how they built the chassis, one being a company called Lone Star. Lone Star builds a lot of their chassis, so I've been studying their stuff and going to try to basically not mimic it, but build something somewhat same style. Obviously this isn't going to be a Lone Star chassis, but it will be a great chassis to be nonetheless. One thing I will do is I have to cut off, this is the dashboard mount, so that's getting cut off, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm cutting this whole tube right down there off. This whole side piece here is coming off completely. So like I said, it's basically going to chop it, boom, make an angle from right there, and then cut this and there, and then cut it right here, and essentially the whole side of this car will be off. Only thing that'll be left on it would be the center piece in the bottom, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then this stuff, I mean, essentially what I plan on building everything up front here, all new tubes, all new fabrication. Basically build the dash straight across here, going out, similar to my old car. And what I want to do is basically get this tube here, go up, and as soon as it passes essentially this line right here, it's going to basically drop and tie into this guy right here. So, but this tube will be right back there. So it'll be like a straight drop. If anything, I might cut that top tube to butt end right there and then have this piece right there. I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly. You'll have to stay tuned to figure out what I'm gonna do and how I build it, because I won't really know until I start actually doing it. I don't have plans. I don't have CAD or anything like that to where I could just design this chassis the way I want to. Either have somebody bend these tubes for me or whatever. It's not a kit that I'm putting together. I'm literally building everything basically right up here. So I don't even know. The next video, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some more research, figure out exactly what I'm going to do as far as cutting this side off and see how people did it. But I'm going to cut off all this like I was saying. I don't know, and then start building. It's so scary, I gotta say. It really is scary trying to build this thing. But the ripping apart and cutting off things, that's the fun part, right? The hard part is bending tubes and getting everything dialed in, making everything perfectly plumb, perfectly straight, and welding it properly. So I'm pretty excited to get into this thing. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. So I'm going to end the video here. A quick little update for the very first video. And then tomorrow or the next day we start cutting into this. We're going to cut off the whole side of it. Start tearing this apart even more. Alright guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the more videos to come. Like I said, if you don't already follow me on Instagram or Facebook, please be sure you do. I appreciate the love. Sorry it's taking me so long to make these videos, but I'm back. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Well, that escalated quickly.